Story recapped here. Today I'm gonna explain an action, horror, and sci-fi film called Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. One night, Claire dreams about her past when she was a child living in Raccoon City orphanage, handled by the Umbrella Corporation. There, she met a disfigured woman named Lisa, who said that she lived below the orphanage. She wakes up with a scream, reminded that she hitchhiked a ride on a semi-truck on her way back to Raccoon City to visit her brother. But on their way there, the driver gets distracted while talking to Claire, not seeing a woman crossing the road, and ends up accidentally hitting her. The driver panics, while Claire tries to take immediate action, but as they start to argue about what to do, they fail to notice the woman standing back up and walking away. Meanwhile, the truck driver's dog gets out of the truck and licks off the woman's blood. In Raccoon City, the newly transferred cop, Leon, groggily wakes up for his graveyard shift. He then goes to the diner, but falls asleep again on the counter. Meanwhile, Leon's fellow cops, Wesker and Valentine, try to pull a little prank on him by putting a ketchup bottle on his head and betting if they can shoot it off from a distance. Valentine accepts the challenge, but instead of trying to hit the bottle, she hits Leon instead, waking him up. Moments later, Officers Marini and Dooley come in to get some coffee for the road, preparing to go to Spencer Mansion because a body has been found all chewed up. But before they go, they mock Leon a bit, calling him stupid because he accidentally shot his former partner. Because of that, he was transferred to Raccoon City after his big shot father on the force bailed him out. The other officers leave for their shift, but Valentine takes the time to talk to Leon, telling him that they're nice people. Once he's alone, Leon talks to the waitress, who has blood coming out of her right eye. He expresses his concern for her, but she says she's fine. Finally, Claire arrives in Raccoon City. When she leaves the truck, the driver notices that his dog is excessively drooling before it bites him. Claire heads straight to her brother's house, but the house is locked and nobody's answering. So, in desperation, she picks the lock to let herself in and finally reunites with Chris, who isn't too happy to see her. Although they're siblings, they've been separated since Claire ran away from the orphanage and haven't heard from each other in 5 years. Claire tries to warn Chris about the imminent doom of Raccoon City, but he doesn't believe her because her source, Ben, seems like a regular crazy conspiracy theorist. In the videotape that Claire plays for Chris, Ben talks about how Umbrella, a prominent pharmaceutical company, made a mistake and is now relocating to a different place, leaving Raccoon City to rot away after allegedly poisoning the waters. Claire also points out that she hasn't been able to contact Ben after he sent her the video. Meanwhile, William, a virologist who was once a lead scientist for Umbrella Corporation, hears his daughter Sherry screaming, saying that she saw a monster. Although William brushes it off as a regular children's nightmare, he suddenly gets a call which changes his mind, ordering his family to get dressed because they need to leave immediately. A little while later, an alert blares through town, with Umbrella warning everyone to stay indoors and await further instructions. Because of this, Chris rushes to the station for his shift, leaving Claire behind. While alone, Claire sees the neighbor outside, looking ill, and writing "Itchy Tasty" on their glass door with blood before walking away. Then suddenly, the woman's child runs inside their house and hides under the table, so Claire asks if he needs help. However, he says that she's the one who needs it. Suddenly, the woman bursts through their glass door and tackles Claire, but she just pushes her to the side before running away and getting on Chris's motorcycle. At the station, all the officers are in the briefing room to discuss what's currently happening, but even the chief, Chief Irons, doesn't have a clue. All he knows is that Marini and Dooley haven't reached back to them since they went to Spencer Mansion. Leon speaks up to ask about Spencer Mansion, not having a single clue about Raccoon City, but Chief Irons just shouts at him in front of everyone, saying he isn't included in the meeting because he needs to be watching over the front desk. While they embarrass Leon, Wesker gets a message on his pager from an anonymous individual that he's been talking to for a while now, telling him to check his locker. When the chief commands everyone to get dressed and check on the situation in Spencer Mansion, Wesker finds a Palm Pilot in his locker containing details about what's happening, including the scheduled destruction of Raccoon City at 6 a.m. While Claire's on her way to the station, William almost hits her for not paying attention because he's arguing with his wife, and they seem to recognize each other when Claire opens her helmet. When William drives away, Claire sees the semi-truck driving at full speed. The driver's eyes are bloodshot, and the dog looks even worse. Back at the station, Leon is asleep at the front desk with his headphones on, not having a clue about the semi-truck that's heading straight this way. The truck then hits some parked cars on the road, crashing and exploding just a few feet away from the station's gates. The driver, now in flames, walks straight into the office towards a sleeping Leon, but luckily, Chief Irons shoots him, waking up the rookie officer. Chief Irons tells Leon to extinguish the flames and lock the gates, which Leon follows before chasing after the chief, who's hurriedly packing his stuff. Leon asks what they should do, but the chief just leaves him behind and tells him to take care of himself, realizing that the phone lines are dead. Leon follows the chief to the parking lot, but the man just tells him that he's now in charge of the station, refusing to hear him out and driving away immediately. On the other end, Chris's team arrives near Spencer Mansion, finding Marini and Dooley's Jeep overturned in the woods. Moments later, they land and continue the search through the forest. Richard finds a trail of blood leading inside the mansion, so they split up as per Wesker's suggestion, and Valentine goes with him. Meanwhile, Chief Irons tries to leave town, but the road exits are blocked off by soldiers shooting anyone that tries to leave, so he immediately backs away and returns to the station. When Chief Irons gets out of the vehicle, he hears a strange whimpering around the parking lot, so he reaches for his gun but realizes that he forgot it in his car. Then, while loading his gun, a rabid dog bursts through his car window and tries to attack him, so he immediately starts shooting. Soon, the dog disappears from his sight, but Chief Irons continues to shoot at every slight noise. He looks underneath the car, but the dog is already behind him and starts to corner him. Unfortunately, Chief Irons is already out of bullets. Before the dog could lunge at the chief, Claire appears and starts bashing it with a fire extinguisher, but despite being critically injured, the dog takes a few more hard hits before it dies. Leon comes up behind Claire, pointing a gun at her and telling her to drop her gun, to which she replies that she doesn't have any. She then leads them back inside, seeing the number of townsfolk getting erratic and having an extreme case of hair loss. Leon and Claire check the armory for weapons, while Chief Irons tries to contact Chris to see if they can leave by helicopter. However, the situation at Spencer Mansion doesn't look too good either, as Chris finds an Umbrella employee eating Marini. They shoot the zombie dead and try to help Marini, but it's already too late. Chris then orders Richard to look for Dooley, so he goes straight upstairs, only to be ambushed and eaten by a horde of zombies. The same thing happens to Chris, but he manages to fight them off and get away. Unfortunately, back in the woods, their pilot gets grabbed by a zombie. Meanwhile, it's a little more peaceful on Wesker and Valentine's end, as they've not encountered a single zombie yet. Instead, Wesker follows a map sent to his Palm Pilot that leads to a study, but he doesn't tell Valentine anything when she asks him what it is. Wesker then sits down at the piano, following the instructions sent to him, as he plays a few notes that uncover a secret door. But while Wesker is preoccupied, Valentine notices that their helicopter is flying straight towards the mansion, about to crash at their location. So, she immediately runs and grabs Wesker to take cover, before the room is engulfed in flames. Back at the station, Leon and Claire hear someone calling for help in the basement, so Leon checks it out and finds Ben locked up alongside a sick inmate. He demands Leon to free him, but the rookie isn't quite sure what to do until Ben takes his gun from him. Held at gunpoint, Leon follows Ben's orders and looks for the key to let him out. Ben then starts talking about the T-virus and the G-virus, saying those are Umbrella's creations that modify people's DNA and turn them into weapons. However, Leon doesn't listen, and when he finally opens the cell, Ben's inmate eventually turns into a zombie and bites him before he could get out. Shocked, Leon backs away from the zombie, with no weapons in hand as it attacks him, but Claire comes just in time to save him. She then sees Ben and finally realizes that they're in a lot of danger, so she tells Leon to get it together, handing him back his gun that Ben took, but the zombie is still alive, so Leon starts angrily shooting at it to let off steam, tired of everything that's been happening. Meanwhile, Chief Irons tries to contact the helicopter, not knowing what has transpired. At the mansion, Valentine and Wesker luckily survive the explosion. Wesker immediately goes back to what he was doing, seeing the secret tunnel within the mansion. Then, Valentine confronts him about what he's been preoccupied with, so Wesker tells her the truth. Wesker says that an unknown person contacted him several months ago when Umbrella started leaving Raccoon City. Until now, Wesker has no idea who he's talking to, but he's been tasked to reveal Umbrella's dirty secrets in exchange for money so he can leave town. Valentine is upset that Wesker plans to leave them without a word, so she tries to reason with him, saying they need to find Chris and Richard, but Wesker refuses to follow. Wesker pulls out a gun, alerting Valentine, but it turns out he's just saving her from a zombie behind her. Then, Wesker runs inside the tunnel and leaves Valentine behind without even saying goodbye. Still clueless about what happened to the helicopter, Chief Irons proposes they get it themselves. They then rush towards the loading block as zombies swarm the building, finally breaking through the gates. At the same time, Claire watches their rear, shooting at zombies chasing after them. With 2 hours left till the town's destruction, they arrive at Raccoon City Orphanage. Chief Irons says there's a secret passageway that leads to Spencer Mansion, and while Claire and the Chief argue about why they're there, Leon notices the lights swinging and sees Lisa on the stairs. He tries calling for the two, but Lisa shushes him and points to the ceiling. Eventually, Leon gets Claire's attention, but Lisa is already gone. Unfortunately, when the Chief tries to catch up to them, he's grabbed by a liquor zombie. When the Chief's dead body drops to the floor, they both run, but the liquor grabs Leon's leg. Claire immediately comes to his aid, but when her guns do nothing to stop the mutated zombie, Lisa tackles the monster from behind and saves them. Claire immediately recognizes her old friend and asks for help to lead them to Spencer Mansion, and the woman obliges. Lisa leads them to a secret passage and hands Claire the keys, showing the keyhole hidden in the room's painting. They go inside the secret elevator, and Claire thanks Lisa, but she doesn't come with them. The two arrive at a basement where they find records of Umbrella conducting experiments on children from the orphanage, a fate that Claire almost suffered if she hadn't run away. She also sees Lisa's old records, which angers her, so she starts ripping off the pages. Meanwhile, Chris is still navigating his way through the mansion, shooting zombies that appear. However, the darkness makes it hard for him to fight against the infected. He then loses his gun and uses a lighter to see, when suddenly he comes across Dooley, already a zombie. Chris soon gets cornered but is saved by Valentine, who informs him of Wesker's betrayal and what happened to the helicopter. William arrives in his secret laboratory and starts packing his work. Meanwhile, his wife and daughter watch in horror as his research specimen continues to live despite being gutted. Wesker then arrives, cornering William and asking for his briefcase full of the G virus, but William protects his life's work. Wesker points a gun at him, but William sneakily gets a gun to shoot him. However, Wesker doesn't hesitate to fire back, hitting William 3 times before he goes down in front of his family. William then orders his family to give him the vials, so his wife immediately hands them to him. Wesker tries to stop her, but she picks up the gun and points it at him, so he shoots her in the head. After that, Wesker looks for Sherry, but she's hiding away in some corner. Wesker confronts William and tries to finish him off, unaware that he successfully injected himself with the G virus. He starts to walk away, but sees Sherry pointing the gun at him, and when he aims back at the girl, he's immediately shot on the back by Valentine, who arrives with Chris. Chris comforts Sherry while Valentine tries to save Wesker, but he says that it's already too late for him, and they should quickly leave Raccoon before it gets destroyed. He then reveals there's a train tunnel under the facility that will lead them to safety, and before he dies, he tells them that he wouldn't have pulled the trigger on Sherry. They find the door leading to the train, but can't open it all the way, so Chris can't squeeze through. Then, they hear the sound of a mutated William following them, so Chris tells the two to hide while he fights against the scientist. Chris doesn't even land a single blow on William, and the scientist eagerly throws him around and chokes him. Fortunately, Claire arrives just in time and shoots William repeatedly, and Chris also shoots him to finish him off. However, they don't realize they haven't done enough to kill him. They get to the train with 5 minutes left until Raccoon City self-destructs, so Leon gets the engine going. Unfortunately, they don't even make it outside the tunnel when the entire place starts exploding. The tunnel then collapses and stops the train, allowing William to catch up to them. Now a fully developed mutant, William grabs Claire and prepares to eat her, but she stabs him in the face, so he drops her. Chris tries shooting him, but causes him no damage, so Leon comes up from behind them with a rocket launcher, blasting the mutant to death. The entire city falls into ruin, and the Umbrella Corporation makes a report that states there are no civilian survivors, not knowing that Claire, Chris, Leon, Valentine, and Sherry have survived. Meanwhile, Wesker, who's revealed to be alive, wakes up in a body bag, temporarily blinded. He is saved by his secret contact, Ada Wong, who doesn't tell him what she wants from him.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.